Hi there. Welcome to Mirror Mind. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's becoming more and more important to recognize in our everyday lives: narcissism. Maybe you've heard the term being thrown around on social media, or maybe you've experienced it firsthand in a relationship, a workplace, or even in your family. Whatever your experience is, it's important to be informed. So in this talk, I'm going to walk you through the key traits and behaviors of narcissists that you should absolutely know. And don't worry, I'm going to keep things straightforward and easy to understand. Think of this as a one-on-one conversation. By the end of it, you'll have a clearer picture of what narcissistic behavior looks like, how to spot it, and most importantly, how to protect your own mental and emotional well-being if you ever find yourself dealing with someone like this. Let's begin with the core of narcissism. 1. Lack of empathy. This is probably the most defining trait of narcissists. Simply put, narcissists don't care about how others feel. They can pretend to care, sure. They can act concerned, they can say the right things, but deep down, there's no genuine emotional connection to the experiences or feelings of others. If someone has truly intact empathy, they're probably not a narcissist. It's that simple. This lack of empathy is the bedrock of narcissistic personality traits. It shows up in their inability to comfort others, their harsh reactions to people's emotions, and their total disregard for how their actions affect those around them. 2. Entitlement. Next, we've got entitlement. Narcissists believe they deserve special treatment just because. Even if it means stepping on others, they'll still expect to be given priority, praise, admiration, or access to things they haven't earned. You might hear them say things like, "I shouldn't have to wait," or "Do you know who I am?" Or they might simply act in ways that show they think the rules don't apply to them. This sense of being special and above others can be exhausting for the people around them. 3. Grandiosity. Narcissists often live in a fantasy world where they are smarter, better, and more talented than everyone else. They talk about dreams and goals in a way that makes them seem like they're already living that reality, even when they're not. You'll hear them talk about climbing Mount Everest, becoming a world-famous artist, having the greatest love story of all time. Things that are highly exaggerated or even completely fabricated. The problem is, they present these fantasies as facts or near certainties. 4. Superficiality. Narcissists are obsessed with appearances. Not just their own, but also how other people look, what they wear, what they drive, where they live. It's all about the image. They judge others based on shallow qualities like fashion, material possessions, or status. Now, don't get me wrong. Liking fashion or enjoying nice things doesn't make someone a narcissist. The key here is depth. A narcissist lacks depth. They'll choose friends or partners based on status symbols, not values or emotional connection. 5. Constant need for validation. This one is big. Narcissists crave admiration. They need to be praised constantly, and they never seem to get enough. Compliments, applause, recognition, it's like food for them, but they never feel full. And if you're close to a narcissist, maybe their partner or child, you'll find that they expect you to constantly affirm how amazing they are. Even if they give you a gift, it becomes about them. They expect you to thank them repeatedly and make a big show of your appreciation. It's draining. 6. Rage and emotional instability. Narcissists don't handle frustration well. When things don't go their way, they can explode. Their emotional regulation is poor, and anger, especially sudden, intense anger, is common. This rage often comes from a deep insecurity. Because they're so fragile inside, any threat to their image or ego can spark an outburst. One moment they're charming, the next they're shouting. And that inconsistency can make you feel like you're walking on eggshells. 7. Arrogance. This might seem obvious, but it's worth pointing out. Narcissists believe they're better than others. This arrogance shows up in how they talk to people, how they dismiss others' opinions, and how they minimize others' achievements. It's not just confidence, it's an inflated sense of superiority. They look down on people, make condescending remarks, and often invalidate the feelings or accomplishments of others. Now, those are the 7 core traits. But narcissism is more than just a checklist. It's a pattern, a deeply ingrained way of thinking, behaving, and relating to others. ##### Other common narcissistic behaviors. Jealousy and envy ***. They're often envious of others, and they believe others are envious of them. Manipulation ***. They're experts at twisting reality to suit their needs. They'll lie, cheat, or distort facts to maintain control. Gaslighting ***. This is when they make you doubt your reality. They'll say things like, "That never happened," even when it did. Projection asterisk asterisk. They accuse you of the very things they're guilty of. If they lie, they'll say you're the one who's lying. Charm with an agenda asterisk asterisk. They can be extremely charming, but usually, it's calculated. They're trying to get something from you. Hashtag 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 how to spot a narcissist quickly. You might wonder, how can I know if someone is a narcissist when I first meet them? Start by observing how the conversation flows. If you say, "Hi, I'm Sarah," and then they launch into a long speech about themselves without asking you anything in return, take note. That's a red flag. Try asking them a question that pulls away from work or achievements. Something like, "What brings you joy?" or "Tell me about your inner world." If they freeze or change the subject, that's telling. Narcissists struggle with vulnerability. Also, try talking about yourself for a bit. Do they listen? Or do they glaze over or pull out their phone? Narcissists often lose interest the moment the spotlight shifts away from them. Hashtag 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 what to do if you're in a relationship with a narcissist. This is where things get tough. By the time most people realize they're in a relationship with a narcissist, they've already invested time, energy, and emotions. It can be years before someone sees the pattern clearly. If there are no children involved, leaving the relationship might be more straightforward. But if you share children, the situation becomes a lot more complex. Here's what I suggest. 1. Get into therapy for yourself. A therapist can help you gain clarity, set boundaries, and build your self-esteem. 2. Couples therapy only if the therapist is experienced with narcissistic behavior. Narcissists can manipulate therapists too. 3. Be realistic. Narcissists rarely change. Ask yourself, can I live with this dynamic forever? If not, you have two choices. Adjust your expectations and accept that this is the best it will get. Or begin making a plan to leave. Hashtag 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 final thoughts. Narcissists are not just annoying people who talk too much about themselves. They can cause real emotional harm. They can leave you questioning your worth, your reality, and your sanity. But the more you understand about narcissistic traits and behaviors, the better you can protect yourself. You can set boundaries. You can walk away from toxic relationships. And you can recognize the signs early enough to avoid deeper entanglements. So remember these traits: lack of empathy, entitlement, grandiosity, superficiality, constant need for validation, rage, and arrogance. Watch for manipulative behaviors like gaslighting and projection. And always trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Thanks for listening, and take care of yourself. You deserve relationships that are built on mutual respect, empathy, and genuine connection. Stay aware, stay kind, and stay strong.